Hello, my name is Bray Bradley and I'm a broadcast journalism major at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, or UNLV. Coming from a background in television, I recently took on the challenge of radio broadcasting, specifically in the area of motorsports. I've announced numerous live races, including the Porsche Club of America's Festival of Speed. I've also gathered field reports in the pits for over 3 years. My experience includes off-road racing, dirt track racing, NHRA, NASCAR, road course, supercross, endurocross, and many more. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my Motorsports Reel. Let's take a look. Good afternoon, race fans. Thanks for tuning into this week's segment of Trackside. As always, I'm Bree Bradley. It was in 2010 when Michael Ray McLaughlin was diagnosed with leukemia. Being a racer since the age of 7, doctors and nurses should have guessed he would speed toward recovery in no time. That's not to say it's been an easy ride for him and his family, undergoing chemotherapy and spinal taps, all while being forced to sit on the sidelines and watch the sport he loves. However, one local fabrication shop stepped up in hopes of making his journey more worthwhile. With all this exciting action going on, I want to give you a look what it's like behind the wheel. Matt Kenseth is still leading the points once again in a straight across tie with second place Jimmy Johnson. And looking forward to future events, Snore, that Southern Nevada off-road enthusiast, there's no snoring in racing. They're gearing up for their 44th annual Snore 250 race this weekend in memory of John Calvin. With updates on yesterday's horrific crash during the Grand Prix at Houston, injuring more than a dozen fans and resulting in one driver being taken to the hospital. Take a look at this. This footage of yesterday's race, brought to you by NBC Sports Network, shows Dario Franchitti's crash into the fence after Franchitti clipped the car tire driven by Takuma Sato when the two were coming off of turn 5 on the final lap at the Reliant Racecourse. We begin today with some tragic news from this weekend's Score Baja 1000. Kurt Caselli passed away this Friday as a result of injuries sustained in a crash just 80 miles from the finish. Caselli was in a leading position when he crashed at high speeds, resulting in severe head trauma. He later died of his injuries in Ensenada, Baja California, Mexico. While it is still unsure what caused Caselli's crash at race mile 796, Score officials now assure it was not a man-made booby trap. This weekend's event debuted new partnerships with racing-related companies in hopes of continuing Desert Connection's growth.
Tonight's event is a big parking lot meet here at Dirt Freaks Motorsports. They were nice enough to throw open their whole parking lot for us and let us meet here, a place where we're not going to be hassled, and a shop that shares a mutual interest as far as reaching out to the desert community. The final round of the 2013 Geico AMA Endurocross Championship, fueled by Monster Energy, was held inside the New Orleans Arena this Saturday. Motorcycle fans traveled from all over the U.S. to witness the epic points battle between two of the best off-road motorcycle racers in the world, Taddy Beluziak and Mike Brown. I, however, chose to see this weekend's Endurocross event from a different pair of eyes, other than these two men. Let's take a look.
I'm Lexi Wingner. I'm 19, and this weekend I'm racing the women's class at Endurocross. I race professional women's motocross, and since that series is gone, I have been picking up desert racing and Endurocross, and my transition hasn't been that smooth.
Desert racing has always been a sport that publicity is hard to come by, but organizations such as Desert Connection are helping get people involved. For Studio G, I'm Bree Bradley. You have a steep history of victories here in the off-road community. Tell us a little bit about the most memorable ones for you.
One of the probably most memorable ones is probably in 2003. My first overall win was in a Class 10 car in Callahan, Nevada.
One local fabrication shop stepped up in hopes of making his journey more worthwhile. Just within the shadows of the Las Vegas Strip resides a custom fabrication shop dedicated to making one leukemia patient's wish come true. Owner Dino Martinez learned about his client's medical condition and took action. Through the Kids Wish Network, Scorpion Motorsports wanted the job of building an off-road pre-runner for McLaughlin, but struggled with the ideal budget.
When he was offered his wish, he wanted to have his Ranger turned into a pre-runner. they came to me immediately and asked me, who to talk to. So I actually referred the Wish program to other companies that are bigger, that are more established, that could afford to do such a build. Unfortunately, all those companies turned them down and said there wasn't within their budget to make such a build happen. And when I found word of that, I decided to step up and do it. I mean, I can't afford to do it, I figured, but I can't afford not to do it.
A battle with moral obligation and the need to give back to someone so involved with the racing community drove Martinez and his team to push for a Christmas deadline.
Well, Michael's heavily into the off-roading scene. I mean, he loves it, and he's passionate about it. He rides dirt bikes himself. Getting a truck like this and have his own version of an off-road race vehicle meant a lot to him, and it definitely carried him through a lot of treatment, a lot of pain, and a lot of suffering that he had to go through.
McLaughlin finished his final chemo treatment last month. He told me the thought of receiving this truck kept his spirits up, but now it's unclear when and if that will even happen. Less than 2 weeks ago, the wheels and tires were stolen off the pre-runner overnight, leaving the project at a standstill.
Well, my partner gave me a call and let me know that the wheels and tires were stolen off the vehicle. First thing I thought of was our deadline for Christmas. I know we don't have the funds to buy a whole new set of wheels and tires. I just wasn't sure how I was going to make it happen. So I just felt angry, I felt abused, taken advantage of, and I felt really, really resentful of having to tell Michael that what happened.
I've seen pictures of it. I can't wait to get it. But with this backset, I mean, it sucks. No one deserves to be stolen from, and I mean, in my case, it just happened to be me.
Despite the upsetting news of the theft and the deadline being pushed back, Martinez and the guys at Scorpion Motorsports found a way to turn this bad news into a positive.
We're very fortunate to have somebody from that saw the ad on Facebook or saw our post on Facebook want to step up and contribute to getting wheels and tires for this vehicle. We came up with a nice plan B that's going to be a nice surprise for him. He doesn't even know. We're not going to tell him, but I think at the end he's going to be even happier than he would have been before, because this is going to be something more custom and a little more of his personality incorporated into it.
Dina was nice enough to show me these upgrades to the build, and all I have to say is, Michael, you are one lucky guy. Well, that wraps up Studio G's fall semester of Trackside and my news in the industry of speed. Thanks to everyone for viewing. After the break, we'll have your latest